I guess we could start breaking down some of the most important things that we need to know that's going on behind the scenes that people aren't aware of.
Okay, so the first thing that most people are unaware of is that this was all planned out, and it started in China, and as it went around the world, all the countries followed suit. Was the first thing they established was a mental health framework. Now, we had all been primed psychologically for that because about 6 months before, in the fall, late summer, fall of 2019, they began to say the average person does not have the fortitude to cope with a disaster, a major disaster. And I go, whoa, just because I know their code, you know? And so I just went, something big is coming. And so the minute that it hit, I knew that this was going to go global. There's many reasons for that. We might go into that this evening. So China started with a mental health framework, then the United States. The second thing that all the countries did was allocate 9 out of every $10. I'm making that easy. Of course, you know, they deal with billions, but just for the average listener, 9 out of $10 was spent on fighting the info war, not fighting the as they say virus. I say particle, but they say virus. And I thought that was very telling. I took a 7-month military course last year, and it was about weaponized information. They went into all sorts of interesting things, like how they took Alex Jones down and James Watson. I mean, they didn't eradicate them, but they deplatformed them, and they definitely stopped the connections. And they learned from those lessons for things that we're seeing today. And in one of the days that I was taking the course, there was an exercise. And typically I'm just a fly on the wall, take notes and report on it. But everyone had to participate. So I was blue team. And it was a disaster in the Indonesian area. There were massive humanity loss, deaths, geopolitical situations, and we were kind of pigeonholed into only dealing with the situation and the disaster by managing the information. They were not going to take care of the deaths. They were not going to reach out to the people. They were just going to manage the information. And basically, by the end of the course, I realized that all disasters from that point forward in 2020 would be a management of information. And so that's where we find ourselves now.
Now, as far as the reasons why this is happening, some of the bigger picture reasons why the ones at the top are, going forward with these agendas, would you think that depopulation would be one of the major agendas that's at play here?
Absolutely. So the original goal was 2030, but a year ago they upped that to 2025. And there are cycles of time that are converging. A billion year, 100,000 year, 25,000 year, 12,000 year, 400, 2,000 year, 400, 22, and 11. And they are all converging right now in our lifetime between 2020 and 2050. And there have been 5 extinction level events. We have entered the 6th extinction level event. We kind of started that last year. I don't know if you're aware that about, December 21st, actually went from one 25,000-year cycle of constellation to the age of Aquarius. I always thought the age of Aquarius, singing that song back in the 60s, was, in the 60s, but no, it actually just happened. And it's at that flexure point, when it switches from one constellation, just think of it as a constellation clock, that the most deadly and devastating disasters of all history have taken place, up to the extinction of 90% of all life on Earth. So the powers that be know this. And are you familiar with the Adam and Eve story?
Yes, I have actually read over that, and it is quite terrifying.
Yeah, so they know about that. So David and I had an off-grid place up in the Garnet Mountains in Montana, and it was interesting. We had not heard about the CIA or Adam and Eve story because, of course, it was classified at the time. But all around us were CIA. They
Now,
all
for
had
for the
families
audience
there.
that doesn't know, this Adam and Eve story is a declassified document from the CIA. I think it was something Chan that wrote the document.
Chan Thomas.
Chan Thomas, yeah, and it just basically outlines this extinction level event of something happening with the core of the Earth that causes this major extinction level event that wipes out like 90% of life on the planet. And it's terrifying. And you're saying this could be an upcoming event in our near future?
Absolutely. It's in progress right now. Yeah. We've got some really exciting days ahead. We've got a galactic electric current sheet coming to us from the center of the galaxy. It has caused fireworks in Alpha Centauri and the Dog Star. It just ripped off Pluto's atmosphere. It has hit, I can't remember if it's Saturn or Jupiter. It's impacting Uranus. And so it's just about, I think we're just getting the very tippy toes of it at Mars and Earth. And this comes at a time when our magnetosphere, which is our Earth's protection from all these space events, is collapsing, basically. It's going down, and nobody knows why it does it. And that's was set the stage for the Adam and Eve story and why the pole flipped and all these things. Meanwhile, the sun is roaring back to life. And yes, we're going into a grand solar minimum probably in the next solar cycle, which is 11 years from now or 10 years from now. But still, we'll have these peaks of a high, and that is in 2025. So we've already we're in a lull right this minute, but for the last couple of weeks, we've been getting a solar storm hit us about every 30 hours. And this is nothing. We haven't seen anything. So nobody really knows what will happen when this galactic electric current sheet hits the sun waking up with these solar flares. It's going to be quite a phenomenal sight. As a matter of fact, the ancients in the petroglyphs, a lot of people think, oh, they were just stick figures, but actually they are physics representations of what happens in the sky during these events. So
Yeah, it's
it looks
pretty
like
amazing. It's pretty amazing that so few people are actually talking about this. I know a couple of other people that cover space weather, been from Suspicious Observers and a few others that are kind of keeping an eye on this, but not to the extent that you're saying here. And you're saying that the elites or those in power know that this is going to happen, and they're just basically preparing for this new depopulated society, right?
Yes, so they basically want to make money and grab power. I mean, those are the two things that they want. And so they know that it's coming. So they just want to squeeze as much out of us before that happens. And then, of course, they believe that they're going to be uploaded to either synthetic life forms, a computer, or go off planet, and they'll be saved. And the rest of us will just have to deal with whatever comes our way.